Yo, what's going on, guys? We are back for another Chainsaw Man chapter review, and this time we get to see some pretty big stuff, mostly Yoshida and who he's working with, and that is public safety. But we start off this chapter, with a protest. It's titled Chainsaw Man Protest, so we get to see a protest, and there's a big one about, anti-Chainsaw Man stuff. They don't want Chainsaw Man around. And Yoshida and Denji are in a meeting. Yoshida's like, I want to talk to you about, this protest. I wanted to show you. People are not a fan of Chainsaw Man. They want public safety, to take him down. They're calling him a threat. They don't want him around. And Denji, he's like, but I'm a good boy. And I just love that panel. But Yoshida's like, it's because they don't like you, dude. And Denji's like, uh-oh. Well, like, those protesters that are fighting against the other ones are from the Chainsaw Man Church, right? Like, what are they doing here? And Yoshida's like, well, they like you. That's why they're fighting. And Denji's like, that's interesting. I really like being fought for. Like, it sort of feels nice being fought over. And, this just goes back to Denji's character of always wanting attention. And, he does always want attention. He's sort of like just a regular teenager in that sort of aspect. But Yoshida keeps talking about, the Chainsaw Man Church before was mostly just victims of devils. And now it's mostly just people who just want to join just because. And they got like 20,000 people, so that's a pretty big fighting force. And they are all fighting right now. This protest, they begin like a huge brawl in the middle, I guess. So I mean, it could be said that these 20,000 people are going to become like part of an army to fight for the Chainsaw Man and become more of like Chainsaw Man followers, like how like Beam was and Princey and Angel and all those other people. But Yoshida keeps talking about how most of the people that are joining are like still in school, so they can't really vote. But once they will, they're gonna hold like a big sway. So like politicians are already getting in now, like supplying them with like supplies for protests and like their church and whatever. So this is like more like real life stuff where like politicians, support people that in the future will vote for them and like all stuff like that. So Denji basically has no more control over who the Chainsaw Man is like in the public eye. He can only like, do so much, but like they control like the big sway. If the governments are in control, they have all like the news and all that stuff sorted out. So they control what the information is. And Denji, he's like, man, like, so what do I gotta do to see NAYUTA and the dogs? And Yoshida's like, okay, just do nothing. Just do nothing. And by that, he means, I'm asking you to never turn into Chainsaw Man again. And Denji's like, huh? And like, he gives this like disgusted look. He's like, hell no, man. I'm gonna keep being the Chainsaw Man. And Yoshida's like, okay. If you turn into the Chainsaw Man again, I will bring you NAYUTA's corpse. And he's like, oh. We have this really cool panel of Denji like in awe. So Yoshida, he's gonna go on this like tirade of like this persuasive speech, and he's like, you want to live a normal life, don't you, Denji? Like, if you just agree to this, you and NAYUTA can go home together, and you can be a regular family. You can be a regular human. You can even go back to school. Maybe we can be friends. So I love how he's handing out a friendship offer to Denji, and he's just giving the dog a bone. I love it because Denji cannot really make friends, I feel like. The dude's weird. But he's going on about this stuff, and he's like, you'll be happy with NAYUTA and those dogs if you just never turn into Chainsaw Man again. And Denji's like, man. But I want to be Chainsaw Man. I want people to pay attention to me. And, again, it's an easy choice that he should make. I mean, like most protagonists would make like a choice like this near the end of their story. But I don't think it's time for this. So, Denji's not making this decision. He wants to still fight. And I mean, obviously he still should because, his real character arc isn't really completed yet, I think. But Yoshida, he's like, did you even understand me, man? Like, I said I'm gonna kill NAYUTA. But Denji, he's like yelling, he's like, I don't want that either. But I want to be the Chainsaw Man. And he's like, I want these protesters to fight for me. And he just keeps wanting this attention. I mean, it's just normal Denji. That's just him. But Yoshida, he's like, look. Okay, it's time for you to choose, man. It's either you choose your selfish desires or you choose NAYUTA in your life. And Denji, bro, he's like, okay, it's just time to choose. He's like, I want two choices then. I want two. And Yoshida's like, bro, you can't have two. Choose one. And Denji's like, I choose both, man. So, I mean, this is just, it's really childish, but Yoshida keeps talking about, like, he's laying it on hot. He's like, don't you care if Naita dies, man? And Denji's like, protesters, assemble, please, fight for me. Fight this kid in front of me. And Yoshida's like smiling. He's like, this dude's so fucking stupid. And I mean, Denji's calling for help from people who don't even know who he is. Like, they don't know you're the Chainsaw Man, bro. Like, this man hit rock bottom, and like, this is where he needs to make his decision. But we hear somebody yell, Denji, Denji, and we see it's NAYUTA. So NAYUTA's back, and we get to see someone getting like punched right in the face as he's yelling NAYUTA, and they both like see each other. The dogs are with them, and they hug and all that stuff. And this like public safety agent is walking NAYUTA like over there. But you know, I think it's mostly because it's his accident, but it also could be a thing where NAYUTA controlled him to do it. But NAYUTA greets Denji. She's like, you stink. And Denji's like, bro, I haven't had a bath in like 3 days, bro. Like, I was tied up for 2 straight. Like, come on. But Yoshida, he's like, bro, it's too early for them to meet. And the public safety dude's like, oh, you guys aren't done yet? So it could like totally be, you know, his mistake, or it could be NAYUTA. But they meet at the end of that, and Yoshida, he gives us this really like funny face, but he's like, listen to me, Denji. Like, you were about to make the decision. Like, why didn't you just make it? And he's like, okay, whatever. This must prove to you that we are willing to kill NAYUTA either way. So you better not turn into the Chainsaw Man. And NAYUTA's like, excuse me, Denji, tell this dude to fuck off. Or like, F off. But I'm not sure if this is also NAYUTA using her powers or not. I'm not sure because, you know, Denji was being controlled by Makima near the end of the story full like he wanted to. But, you know, this might be a thing where, you know, she's just using her powers slightly, but Denji can sort of fend them off, or she's just not using them on him, you know. I'm not sure, but Denji obviously tells the dude to fuck off. No. He's like, is that all, bro? Because we're going home. And they leave. And Yoshida's like, what, bro? He's sort of like left in like disbelief. And he's like, did they even understand me? So that's the end of the chapter. We don't have a break next week. And, you know, I think we're going to see maybe this be resolved in next chapter with, you know, Denji's decision to keep being the Chainsaw Man. Maybe he fights next chapter and they kidnap NAYUTA and like actually kill her, which would be sort of sad. Or they probably like make a deal with Denji somehow. But I could also see us go like hang out with Denji and NAYUTA at their home. Maybe see more of their dynamic because we haven't seen too much. From what we've seen, NAYUTA is pretty much exactly like Denji. Like, she's sort of a copy of him, and I want to see more of like, you know, how they just live their life at home and their relationship, because I think NAYUTA is a good person, but I'm also not really sure because, you know, she seems like a douchebag. I mean, and Denji is too, but she also could be pretty nice because, you know, she does like Denji a lot and she seems to care for him. So we'll see on that part because, you know, she is the control devil. She can't really make relationships with people that well, but, you know, you got to give them hugs. That was the whole part of the last part and all that stuff. So yeah, I could also see us go and see Yoshida also like maybe debrief with like Devil Hunter HQ. So that could be an interesting thing where like he talks to the higher ups and maybe we get to see his standing in the organization, because maybe he took the role over for Makima of like the higher up. Or maybe that's Kishibe, which I sort of think because, you know, he's sort of made for leading. I feel like he's a lot of people's like sensei, and he taught a lot of pretty strong people. So I could see him up there. Maybe Yoshida's like his number 2, his right-hand man, all that stuff. And we do get to see him pretty high up in the standings because, you know, he does get to take care of this, like, you know, this whole Chainsaw Man thing. He has to watch over Denji. And that is pretty high profile, I think. Well, not high profile, but it's pretty tough in the sense of you would probably need to be really strong to at least, you know, be able to contain the Chainsaw Man. So yeah, that's that. But yeah, that's the end of the chapter. No break next week. We get to see the greatness that is Fujimoto again. But let me know what you guys thought about this chapter. Thank you guys if you made it this far. Please like and subscribe. I'd really appreciate it. And peace.